From WDTN, the station that's working for you, this is 2 News at 11.
Strong storms in the Miami Valley today, plus the potential for the start of our first heat wave of the summer.
And with storms ripping through the Miami Valley earlier today, residents are now picking up the pieces. Good evening, I'm Dana Smith. Rain and hail made an appearance on a hot day in the Miami Valley. Let's head on over to Storm Team 2 meteorologist Melissa Barrington for a first check of your forecast.
And earlier this afternoon and evening, we did see some thunderstorms that developed along I-70 and then pushed their way southward. Now we do have a few storms that are affecting Logan County, and they've now also entered and are diminishing out of Auglaize County as we speak right now, but they're still pushing to the south. Still could produce some heavy downpours, gusty winds, and some small hail. We already did see some heavy downpours earlier today, 1.85 inches in Huntsville, 2.13 inches in Brookville, and you also had some very large hail. It was either a quarter or a $half size there earlier today, and a third of an inch in Springboro. As we go through the next several hours, most locations should remain dry. There's still that slim chance of an isolated shower or storm. Temperatures remaining in the 70s. Coming up, we'll let you know how hot it's going to be for your Father's Day.
All right, thanks, Melissa. Here's a video sent in by 2 News viewer of hail falling in Brookville. As you can see, the hail is bouncing off the car, the driveway, and the street. Thanks so much to Sean for sharing this video with us. And here's more video sent in by another 2 News viewer. You can see the rain causing flooding at the intersection of Webster and Boulder in North Dayton. Thanks goes out to Chad for sharing this video with us. And when you see weather happening, be sure to report it on WDTN.com or through the 2 News app. Be sure to include your name and location. That slow-moving storm left a lot of damage across the Miami Valley. 2 News reporter Judith Vertana has a look at the aftermath as part of our team coverage.
A lot of cleanup happening tonight as a result of that storm. Germantown is one of the places hit especially hard today. A warm and sunny day quickly turns wet after heavy rains come down on the Miami Valley. On Market Street in Germantown, the storm was strong enough to bring down the limbs of this tree. Marjorie Batten says she saw the limbs hit a passing car.
Here come this car and heard the noise.
Limbs from this tree are now spread over the sidewalk and into the street. Batten has some damage in her backyard too.
My chair blew over. My broken bird feeder scattered.
Batten's neighborhood wasn't the only place hit. This is a strip mall in Germantown. Large pieces, once belonging to a roof, now spread out across the parking lot. Winds in Germantown also strong enough to bring down this tree on Astoria Lane. Over on Frederick Pike in Harrison Township, cones are now set up after a large branch falls on top of a power line. Power lines also an issue back in Germantown. Part of a street is blocked off after another large branch topples over a power line. The home stuck behind the branch belongs to Batten's son.
He's been renovating it for several months now, and so sorry for him.
While there's plenty of damage to go around, Batten is glad she was indoors when the storm rolled in.
Oh, was I? Yes. I was in fact looking to see where I could go for better shelter, maybe in the basement.
Now, if you see trees toppled over power lines in your area, it's important to call police immediately and steer clear of that area. Judith Vertana, 2 News, working for you.
Thanks, Judith. And to stay weather aware while you're on the go for Father's Day weekend, just download the 2 News weather app. It's free in your phone's app store. New at 11, a farmer is dead after an SUV rear-ends a tractor. It happened on State Route 29 near Fort Laramie Swanders Road in Shelby County at around 4 p.m. According to a release, the farmer was pulling a sprayer when the SUV hit the tractor. The crash ejected the farmer from the tractor. The woman who was driving the SUV was taken to Wilson Health by medics for minor injuries, but has been released. The crash is under investigation. New information as we now know the name of the person killed in last night's motorcycle crash in Butler Township. The Montgomery County Coroner's Office has identified the victim as 52-year-old Timothy Ashburn of Englewood. The Ohio State Highway Patrol says Ashburn crashed into a power pole on Frederick Pike. The crash remains under investigation. Dayton police are moving 2 of their mobile speed cameras. The 2 trailers that are currently in the Stanley Avenue and Troy Street area will be moved to Harshman Road near Eastwood Lake next week. There is no warning period for the trailers, so police are telling drivers to please slow down. The rain didn't stop the city of Miamisburg from celebrating their bicentennial. Kids enjoyed the new water feature at Riverfront Park during the celebration, marking the 200th anniversary of Miamisburg's founding. The celebration today kicks off a full week of events honoring the city. An actor from the movie Memphis Belle paid a visit to the special plane at the National Museum of the Air Force today. Actor Matthew Modine viewed the exhibit and signed autographs for fans. The actor played the role of one of the pilots on the plane in the 1990 movie based on the historic plane. Modine's uncle was a B-17 pilot during World War II, and the actor wore his uncle's uniform and bomber jacket in the film.
The weight of that jacket and the sense of responsibility to all those people who lost their lives in these planes in the Second World War weighed heavily on all of us, and so we wanted to all do our best to make it into something that was special.
It was his first time seeing the plane fully restored. Parents separated from their children at the U.S.-Mexico border. Why the Attorney General is invoking a Bible verse to justify the administration's immigration policy. As controversy continues to swirl over the president's anti-illegal immigration policy of separating children and parents, it's still full steam ahead for the government. The Trump administration is building a tent city as it continues its sweep of illegal migrants. Gotti Schwartz reports on this developing story.
They're building tent cities near the border, a necessary step as the Trump administration's hardline immigration policy has had its intended effect. Thousands of migrants swept up, detained after both illegal and legal border crossings, many of them children. 2,000 already separated from their parents in the last 6 weeks, housed in a former Walmart or small group homes like this one in San Diego.
If a family has both boys and girls as children, then the siblings are separated. The girls live in a different facility, the boys live here.
It's not just near the border where you can see this story playing out. On a porch in Chicago, some 2,000 miles from the Tijuana border crossing, where Maritza Delgado entered the U.S. seeking asylum, her family now awaits a hearing, and every day they wait for this call. Maritza's 18-year-old daughter on the phone, separated from her mother and sisters and detained in California for more than a month.
They haven't told her when she might be able to get out or when she might be able to see her mom again.
The family entered the country with that migrant caravan, legally asking for asylum at a U.S. port of entry. She says gangs tortured and killed her father.
They found him in the field and that he had been decapitated.
A return home, they say, would be certain death. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said this week fear of gangs is no longer a reason to be granted safe haven here, using Bible verse to justify the administration's new immigration practices.
I would cite you to the Apostle Paul and his clear and wise command in Romans 13 to obey the laws of the government because God has ordained the government for his purposes.
That was Gotti Schwartz reporting. Well, a chase is afoot. You won't believe how an Arizona trooper caught a suspect running on the highway.
The heat intensifies for Father's Day, and what is the risk of more storms? We'll have a look at your complete Storm Team 2 forecast just ahead in minutes.
New at 11, a trooper dives over a fence to catch a suspect. A police chase in Arizona continued when the suspect lost control of his car and spun out. He got out of the car and fled on foot. That's what you're seeing right now. That's not so unusual, and he probably thought he had the upper hand when he climbed a fence right there. Except he probably wasn't expecting this, the trooper to jump headfirst over that fence after him. Within seconds, the suspect was caught. Look at that.
We've had some showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon and this evening. Still on Live Doppler 2 HD, a couple areas where we're seeing some rain at this time, and we're seeing it around the Bell Fountain area and across parts of Logan County. Some areas here have picked up over an inch of rain, so there may be even some minor flooding going on across parts of Logan County. And then we also have a persistent storm that has been sitting just to the south and west of Richmond at this time. Otherwise, everybody else is dry, and most locations should be looking at drier weather as we go through the overnight hours. You can see here around Russell's Point, you've gotten hit a couple times tonight, actually, with some gusty winds and the possibility of hail earlier, and then that very heavy rainfall. So watch out here if you're traveling along Route 68 across portions of Logan County within the next half hour or so. The other story today has been the heat, and as you can see here from our area just west, there is intense heat with highs in the mid-90s, upper 90s, and that heat is actually forecast to push towards us and then stay with us for a couple days. And since we reached 90 degrees today, well, if we reach it 2 more days in a row, consecutive days, that would mean it would be our first heat wave of the summer. So right now, as we take a look at temperatures, we're not too bad. We're actually 75 degrees, and that's actually because we did see that rainfall help to really cool us down, while areas to our west did not see rain, and they are still in the middle 80s at this hour, and it's almost 10 o'clock there, or 11 o'clock for them, and you can see it's still very, very warm. Right now it feels like 87 in Indianapolis. That's the heat index. 92 in Springfield, where for us we don't have heat index at this hour. Today we did see that high temperature of 90 degrees. The record today was 96 set back in 1913. The other thing that we're going to deal with the next 4 days, the humidity. It's going to be oppressive. If you didn't like it today, it's going to be worse tomorrow and Monday, and it's going to continue through Wednesday. And tomorrow, of course, is Father's Day, so we don't want to forget about Dad here. And the forecast for Dad is going to be mostly sunny. It's going to be hot, even more humid. So if you do have plans to be out and about tomorrow, make sure that you do take frequent breaks and drink plenty of water, and take care of yourself and take care of Dad, take care of your pets, and if you know elderly people that may need some help, you may need to check on them too, because the heat is going to get pretty intense. Future track showing for the most part things stay quiet through tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon there is that slim chance of an isolated shower or storm. Most locations though remaining dry. Highs for tomorrow will once again be well into the 90s here from western Ohio all the way back towards Illinois, and the same thing again on Monday as we head back to work. So your forecast here for tonight, mainly clear skies from most locations, 70 degrees. Those few storms that are out there will continue to die off as the evening progresses. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot and humid with highs in the low 90s. Factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like upper 90s, close to 100 degrees. So it's really going to be a scorcher out there tomorrow. Your extended forecast, we continue with 90-degree weather on Monday, and then Tuesday, a chance of showers and storms. Still, temperatures will be in the upper 80s on Tuesday, so still an extremely hot day. And then middle 80s for the rest of the week, and it looks like we're going to have a frontal boundary that's going to be pesky and allow for several days in a row here of showers and storms.
It's going to be a hot Father's Day.
It is. It's going to be very hot, so just take it easy out there, not too much strenuous activity.
Like you said, drink water, stay indoors if you can in the nice AC, check on the pets, check on Grandpa and Grandpa.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Melissa. Well, Hutch is here with a look at sports.
Yeah, when it comes to hitting in the clutch, the Reds not so much. Plus, find out why Phil Mickelson was the center of attention following the 3rd round of the U.S. Open. 2 Sports definitely dropping in after the break.
2 Sports, powered by Ford.
Lack of timely hitting continues to doom the Reds in Pittsburgh this afternoon since he stranded 10 base runners. And in the last 2 games, the Redlegs are 0-19 with runners in scoring position. The Pirates earning their first series victory in more than a month, trailing 1-0. Eugenio Suarez leads off the second inning with a blast to center. His 13th home run extends his hitting streak to 7 games. Starter Luis Castillo, the beneficiary of some good defense in the bottom of the frame. Scott Schebler going to make the nice running catch, taking away an extra base hit from Elias Diaz. A Schebler web gem for sure. The Buccos retake the lead in the third when Colin Moran takes Castillo deep. The right-hander has gives up 2 long balls in this game, and he leads the National League with 17 home runs allowed this season. Since his only other run coming in the 9th, Brandon Dixon swats his first Major League home run, a no-doubter to left. But that was about the bright spot. The Redlegs fall to the Pirates 6-2. Sunday's 1:35 finale features Anthony DeSclafani versus Joe Musgrove.
We got some big hits in Kansas City. We didn't get a lot of hits, you know. So you go through these things, and we got a good offensive ball club. We've shown that many times, and we just a little funk here. We're not getting some timely hits.
For the second straight game in Cleveland, the Indians were taken down by the Twins. Minnesota scoring 4 runs in the first, 2 of them by way of this Max Kepler bases-loaded double. The Indians were able to answer with 2 runs in their half of the frame. Solo homers. First, it's a 423-foot blast from Francisco Lindor, his 16th of the season. Jose Ramirez also leaving the yard with his 21st long ball of the year. Cleveland starter Carlos Carrasco was forced out of the game after being struck by a line drive in the second inning. He suffered a right forearm contusion. The Twins get a 4-hit performance from Eddie Rosario and go on to roll the Indians 9-3. The Dragons close out the first half of the season tomorrow. The Fire Breathers will also be trying to avoid a sweep. For the second straight night, the Dragons are on the losing end in West Michigan, falling to the Whitecaps 9-4. The trials of Shinnecock Hills continue. After 3 rounds of the 118th U.S. Open, not a single player is at or under par. It's the first time that's been the case for the USGA event in 11 years. A picture-perfect day in the Hamptons, but some of the shots anything but pretty. On the 13th green on his 48th birthday, Phil Mickelson causing a stir when after putting past the hole, lefty's going to run to the ball and putt it again while it's still moving. Yeah, you can't do that. A penalty that results in a quintuple bogey 9, Mickelson plus 17 for the tournament. Tony Finau carding the best round of the day. This birdie putt on 18 gives him a share of the lead at 3 over. Dustin Johnson's 4-stroke advantage evaporated on number 2. The bogey putt is off the mark. His first 3-putt of the tourney. Johnson finishes the day with a 7 over 77. Add to the mix last year's champion Brooks Koepka. Here on number 11, the 28-year-old Floridian nearly sticks his tee shot, but he'll settle for a birdie. Koepka with a round of 2 over 72. Daniel Berger matching Finau with the best round of 66. So it's a 4-way tie atop the leaderboard. At 4 over, Justin Rose is 1 stroke off the pace. For not being in contention, Phil Mickelson was the center of attention.
It's just part of the U.S. Open. It's just funny, and I don't mean it disrespectful. So I hope nobody's, if you're taking it that way, look, I'm sorry, that's not the way it's meant. I just wanted to get to the next hole, and I didn't see that happening at the time without the 2 shots.
For the first time in World Cup history, video assistant referee was used in a match between Australia and France. Upon reviewing a tackle from behind on Antoine Griezmann, the French forward is given a penalty kick in the 58th minute and converts, giving France the 1-0 lead. About 4 minutes later, following a handball violation, Australia's Mile Jedinak scores on the penalty kick, and things are even. In the 80th minute, France's midfielder Paul Pogba finds the back of the net thanks to a deflected volley. That's the game winner in the opening Group C game. France defeats Australia 2-1.
Wow, what a goal. That was crazy. It just bounced off the top and went in. Wow. Anyway, that was
the World Cup.
All right, thanks, Hutch. Well, Melissa's here with a final look at weather.
And for Father's Day tomorrow, hot and humid, a very slim chance of an isolated shower or storm, and the heat continues into next week. And then next week, we do have several days of the possibility of showers and storms.
So it's going to be hot tomorrow.
Very hot.
So maybe no Father's Day barbecue. You might want to move that inside and just kind of cook in the AC. Well, that's what we hope. Anyway, happy Father's Day. Stay cool, drink plenty of water. Make sure you get inside and out of that sun. And thanks for watching 2 News at 11.